You deserved everything you got. This is a union city.
That is a Philadelphia tradition.
Seize the means of podcasting.
Oh, God, the bosses crushed us.
Let me tell you one thing else.
In oldie-timey times,
Who said it? Kanye West or Thomas
we
Paine?
will not raw dog reality for that one.
The pleasure of the flesh is in solidarity.
The Scab Buster.
It's going to be wholly unprofessional.
Ape together strong. Let that be your mantra.
My name is Sam James. I'm the host, and you are.
I'm Gabe Christie, and I pick up the dog poop.
Hey, and today we're going to learn about
The fast food workers' strike of 2013.
Did you just say 2000?
Mm-hmm.
And 13?
Yeah.
Gabe, I'm flustered.
It's 21st century, motherfucker.
Gabe. We were alive during this. What is happening?
Yeah.
Have you lost some of your luster? What is going on here?
It's still history.
Granted, but still. 2013. There were songs by Katy Perry in the airwaves. Yeah. How can there be labor history, Gabe? Explain this to me.
Because people were still laboring.
Gabe, I'm going to need you to explain this point by point for me.
Well, luckily,
I need you to hold my hand and go through this with me because I just can't fathom the fact that we're talking about 2013.
Well, that's what my little script here is for.
Okay. So today we're going to learn about the fast food worker strike of 2013.
Yep.
I'm extremely excited because I, like many Americans, occasionally partake in the consumption of fast food.
Yeah.
Not because we enjoy it, but because it is there and it exists and it is expedient.
Yeah.
And in this society that is quite capitalistic, we don't have a lot of time or money to be... Gabe, why don't you just start talking?
So first, we need some definitions.
Fuck.
So let's define food.
Gabe, I will slap you. I will slap you.
No. So, unsurprisingly, fast food workers, even back in 2013,
a millennia ago.
Yeah, it's ancient. We're facing terrible conditions, low wages, and little to no job security.
The fact that none of that has changed does not make me feel better about the ending of this episode.
Oh, it's gonna get worse.
For an entertainment standpoint, it's delicious. But the fact that this is real life and these are real people who are getting hurt, it's kind of sad.
Yeah.
But I mean, still.
Yeah. So in 2009, the federal government raised the minimum wage to $7.25 an hour.
Holy shit. I remember that because I think you bought your second Porsche
Yes.
that year?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember that because I had to put an extension on my garage.
Yeah.
And when that came in...
Well, that was to fit the Hummer.
Oh, yeah. The second Hummer.
Oh, yeah.
Because
yeah.
the first one had some problems and all that,
yeah.
So I threw it out. I just left it on the street. And I just got another one. I just got another one. So
yeah.
But yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
This was the dark times, really.
Should also note that $7.25 an hour in 2009 is the equivalent to
$7.25 now.
No, it's actually $9.57.
Ooh.
So the minimum wage has actually gone down in terms of actual buying power.
It's not supposed to do that.
No. But more to the point, the median monthly rent in the United States was, in 2009, was $850.
Yeah.
So if you worked full-time and were paying the median rent, if you worked full-time at $7.25 an hour and were paying the median rent.
Yeah. You and 5 other people can afford your apartment that you're living in.
Yeah. Because alone, you'd have $300 left over every month. So your choices were live with roommates, take
Or die.
take a worse, smaller apartment, or work more than 40 hours a week. Or if you're like most of us, you did all three.
Yeah.
So
And then you died.
yes. Obviously, people were not super happy about these conditions because they were terrible. So, to start demanding a change and build some more strength for the working class, the Fight for 15 movement developed in New York City in 2012.
That was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So
They're still trying to fight for 15.
Yep.
10 years ago.
Yeah, it was and is because the Fight for 15 still exists.
I apologize.
It's still going forward.
We have to ease it in a little bit.
Yeah. So it's a worker-led political movement to demand a new federal minimum wage of $15 an hour, which even then was acknowledged to not actually be a living wage.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a slightly more respectable wage.
Which is strange because it's double that minimum wage, and it's still not a living wage.
Yeah. And a living wage still isn't a thriving wage.
Yeah.
Which is what the minimum wage was supposed to be.
Yeah, it's the bare minimum of what you should be legally allowed to be paid.
Yes.
To exist.
Yeah. So, the Fight for 15 organized some strikes in New York City in 2012 for better wages and conditions, and also the right to organize a union without corporate retaliation. So that was 2012. That's how the movement got started. And now we're going to jump ahead a bit and go to Wilmington, Delaware in 2013. Their median hourly wage was $8.59. So assuming that you had to pay the median rent, you would have about $500 at the end of the month.
All told, just $500.
Just after rent. So $500 for utilities, food, cell phone,
car, repairs, insurance, health, all that jazz.
And like theoretically a little bit to keep you happy.
Wow.
And we should also mention at this point, because people always bring it up, skilled versus unskilled labor and the conditions under which they exist. So unskilled versus skilled labor is a classist myth created to justify poverty wages. Best way I can explain it is Ford workers are on an assembly line in 1950 were technically unskilled labor, because the Ford production line was set up that like you were literally just putting on a couple of bolts and then moving on.
But they had a house, a nice house in the suburbs, and they could support a whole family. Yep. And the wife didn't have to work. Yeah.
So it was hard work, but working fast food is hard work too.
That's the one thing I can't even fathom working fast food for the lone aspect of just dealing with customers.
Yeah, it sucks.
That takes skill. I mean, the one thing that a lot of people say is like flipping burgers. That's the only comeback they have. It's like, oh, you want this? You want $15 for flipping burgers? It's like they have to deal with people like you.
Yeah.
When they're flipping those burgers.
Yeah.
It would make me flip out to have to deal with someone like you.
Yeah.
It takes skill not to come across the counter and goddamn batter you.
Yeah. Not to mention the fact that like fast food workers making $7.25 an hour are at relatively high risk for getting robbed because you're the front face of a store that they know there's some cash in there.
Yeah. And that kind of sticks with you for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Mentally.
Yeah. But fast food basically runs on an assembly line principle as well, which I don't think it's talked about enough. That like
that's something I never thought about.
Yeah.
That's an interesting aspect of it. Yeah, it's pretty much just it's just food.
Yeah.
It's a fooderized food.
Yeah.
So like the way that like your car was made in the 50s.
Yeah.
Your Buick or whatever is the same way that your Whopper Jr. was made last night when you went there drunk as fuck.
Basically, yeah. There's pre-prepared parts that get assembled in a specific order, and the idea is that the end product, or that each individual step along the way, is simplified enough that you don't need to have any specialist training to do it. And that way anyone, or theoretically anyone, can be plugged into this production line and have the same end product.
Yeah.
That being said, like, I worked at Papa John's for like 4 years, on and off while in college.
Friend of the workers, Papa John's.
Oh God. And so within that, there was like, it was a production line, but there was still some actual hands-on skill that you were expected to know, because they're like, having to learn how to form a pizza actually takes a fair bit of skill. And then you had to be able to go from an order goes into the system to you are handing the customer that pizza in 7 minutes or less. And that was the timeline that you were gauged on.
Yeah.
And that's theoretically, regardless of any externalities. So like, if 20 other orders came in online while you were taking that customer's order in person, they were still expected to get their pizza in 7 minutes, which is not how the real world works. But
Gabe, just admit it. You're an unskilled worker.
It's true.
And your opinion does not matter.
It's very true. And I can say, as someone with a master's degree and a cushy desk job,
rub it in.
Doing actual work that doesn't require a degree is a lot fucking harder, and they deserve to be paid a lot more.
There you go.
So, and I would also just say, in my personal opinion, the only acceptable minimum wage is no wages, because wages imply the private ownership of the means of production. Rather, we should all just benefit by owning the full value of of our own labor. So
thank you for listening to the last episode of Labor John.
Yeah, we finally got there. Anyway, and if anyone disagrees with any of the takes that we've had, I would just challenge you to work at a fast food restaurant for 13 hours straight.
Yeah.
And tell me if you enjoyed it.
And just talk to the people who do that.
Yeah.
Talk to us. Email us. We'll have a nice little chat.
Yeah. We'll talk to you. And give us your home address.
Gabe, we're actually talking. No. What?
Oh, what?
Gabe. No. We're actually going to talk to these people. You're not going to show up to their house.
Damn it.
With a stack of portfolios on why we should seize the means of production and
it's fair.
Why McDonald's should cease to exist.
So, getting slightly back on topic, on August 29th, 2013, hundreds of fast food workers walked off the job, actually across the country, but especially in Wilmington, to demand decent pay and an increase to the minimum wage and better conditions. We should also note here that they were even aware then that $15 wasn't a livable wage, and that a single parent in Wilmington actually needed about $21.84 to like make rent, feed their children, and have a little bit of money left over every month.
God damn, even then.
So there were also, during the walkout, there were a lot of folks were interviewing the workers who had walked out. And one fellow by the name of Hunter was saying because the other myth about fast food workers that it's all like high school kids.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that.
And Hunter, in 2013, told NPR that the average age is 26 to 28.
Yeah.
They're not, as he said, these are not high school jobs anymore. These have become real jobs. And Hunter's wife chimed in saying that it makes us sad when we can't supply for our daughter, and it feels like we have let our daughter down because we can't make enough money to pay these bills and to support our little girl.
Ain't that sad, man?
Yeah.
If you're saying these are jobs for for children who are still in school, then McDonald's and none of these fast food places would not be open until at least 3:30 p.m.
Yeah.
So how are you going to get your McMuffin in the morning, huh?
Yeah.
If it's completely staffed by children, then how do you expect that to be done?
Yeah. It's a nonsense talking point that's just meant to shut down the conversation.
All you have to do is think for about a minimum of 5 seconds before you're like, this argument is complete bullshit.
Yeah. The deindustrialization and suburbanization of the American workforce has been, I grew up after most of it, or after there was any like chance to move away from that. But the, basically all of the industrial jobs in the cities that could actually pay a living wage because they were all heavily unionized, basically all just got replaced by service sector jobs, largely to support the growing suburban communities.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot of urban workers that like in Philly, there's a lot of urban workers that commute out to the Plymouth Meeting Mall and other suburban communities to feed all of these supposedly middle class folks.
Sure.
And then you then also have the issue of not only are you working this crappy job with low wages, but because we don't have any public transit, you have to pay for a car to get to your job so that you can continue to barely make any money. They keep just making life more difficult for working folk. And there's a trend here.
Yeah. But I mean, like, it's bad. But also, like, if you push people too much to the edge, that's the thing. If you want to be a smart capitalist, you got to know how to keep them teetering on that edge. The problem is they're getting a little too greedy. They've gotten a little too greedy. And especially now with the pandemic, they've gotten really greedy. And it's going, woo, it's falling over that edge.
Yep.
And unfortunately it came to that. But the fact, that's what it is now.
Yeah.
We're at that point. And you're just going to have to push back.
Yeah. And while admittedly there hasn't been there hasn't really been broad federal victories for the $15 minimum wage. We do at least now have federal contractors have a $15 minimum wage.
Yeah.
Which one thing that gets left out in this discussion a lot is TSA employees. One of the reasons why one of the reasons why customer service in the TSA has always been so terrible is because they were literally the lowest paid federal employees on the books. And to be honest, one, working in an airport is awful because airports are just terrible places. But then working in an airport, having to deal with angry people 24/7.
Yeah, right.
Who don't want to be there and don't want to deal with you, and then getting paid like $9-10 an hour.
Yeah.
You're not going to be happy.
It's like fast food workers times 100.
Yeah.
Because now you're dealing with national security, and now you're dealing with 500,000 gallons of jet fuel, and you're dealing with people going across the country, and terrorism. So it's like that.
Yeah. So now at least like TSA employees are making some money.
But I kind of wish they had TSA security at like McDonald's or something.
Yeah.
If you fuck around, you're on the no-fry list.
Oh,
yes. You ain't coming back.
Yep.
To this Wendy's.
I like that. I like that a lot. And it's also, I don't know if you saw this. There was a video going around online a little bit ago, and that like this was a bunch of what looked like high school aged or early 20s women working at, I think, a frozen yogurt shop, and a dude came in complaining that I think he'd gotten a smoothie or something that had peanut butter in it. And his son had a peanut allergy.
Oh, I saw this one, yeah.
And it's like, okay, that's a valid concern. Your son could be at risk.
Yeah.
But one, it didn't sound like he let them know about that, so that's on him for poor parenting. Yeah. But then he started yelling slurs at them.
Yeah, racial slurs at them. Right?
Racial slurs at them, called them, I think it was like, dumb high school idiots. He actually threw the smoothie at one of the girls. He came back and started physically threatening them. And you talk to any fast food worker and they will have a story like that. And at the Papa John's that I worked at, we had one guy got upset because we were trying to get a name for his order because he had 4 different names in our computer system, all tied to the same phone number. There were 4 different women's names attached to that phone number, and we were trying to nail down which one it was.
Okay.
And then finly...
Papa John's was the result. You just broke up 4 marriages, pretty much.
But he came into the store and started screaming at the Papa John's worker that was trying to get this information out of him. Called her a bitch, and like started throwing this big fit.
Wow.
And they're like, that's just normal fucking day at fast food place. And the fact that we don't pay these workers
fast food, retail, all that.
Yeah.
The fact that you have to deal with these people and get paid shit wages and get treated like crap from management who are not making that much more than you. But the fact is, with the management, I'm going to stand up for management a tiny bit, lower management, is they're getting so much shit from upstairs as well. Yeah. That it's the whole thing has to change. Everybody has to come together and be like, nope. Yeah. We're done.
Yeah. And it's like the fact that because I'm sure that they did this where you were working too. If it was like a slow day and I know at Papa John's there was like a set number of pizzas we had to sell every hour, and if we didn't hit that mark, they would start sending people home.
The Papa John's minimum.
Yeah. And so, but
man, I think about that, but yeah, okay.
But if you think about it, it's like, so John Schnatter, the former CEO of Papa John's,
a lovely human being.
Oh, fantastic!
Great opinions on minorities.
I'm sure his "don't say racial slurs" training is going really well. But like he can afford to spend $7.25 an hour, or an extra $7.25 an hour every now and again when a store isn't being profitable. And then the managers are held that they're going to lose their job if they don't follow that policy. And a lot of these managers are also they're they came up as workers in the store. And they're usually just like lower middle class parents trying to keep something of a stable job.
Hey, yeah, exactly. These ain't high schoolers.
Yeah.
I mean, these aren't predominantly high schoolers. These, I mean, you've got like a 40-year-old manager at McDonald's. It's like, no, these aren't high school jobs. You know what I mean?
And they're also, service sector jobs are really some of the only jobs now that are accessible without some form of continued education. Because even like...
You need a degree for everything.
Yeah. And even getting into the trades, you generally need some kind of trade school certification if you're not going to if you're going to move beyond just like hauling drywall up 20 stairs every day. Because there's a lot of grunt work in the building trades that you don't need any specialized education for.
But it's hard work.
It's hard work, and it'll destroy your body really quickly. Which is why that's like the work that the younger guys do, and then they're supposed to get the trades education to move up and do the more specialized work. But yeah, so there's basically the whole system is not great, and we should maybe find something better.
I like that this has become like a half-hour long just round table or rectangle table discussion about just general fuckery.
So I have
in
a
this
line
society.
In here. Now I thought we could take some time to bitch about shitty past jobs we've had in the past, or shitty jobs we've had in the past. So this was all scripted already. I planned it. Yeah. So that was I'm sure
the first 5 minutes of it was the 2013 fast food, and then it was about 37 minutes of just us bitching. But I mean, like we haven't even talked about the pandemic, of how that affected these jobs, and it was just like exponential. The amount that people have been screwed over.
Yeah. And not even being screwed over, but just the like glaring admission that the majority of the like upper middle class and above just doesn't view them as human. Yeah. That like all of these pushes to be like, well, I want Red Robin to be open. I don't care about anything. I just want Red Robin to be open, and I want to go eat there. Yeah. Not thinking about the fact like, oh, Red Robin being open means there's 2 or 3 kitchen staff that have to be there. There's probably 4 to 5 wait staff that have to be there. There's dishwashers, and every single person there is risking their lives.
Yeah. And then there's supply chain, food that gets to there, and then there's the how they get that food and whatever, so on and so on. Yeah. And then not to mention the farm workers that are risking their lives day in and day out to do all of this. So I mean, there was a big thing early on in the pandemic about slaughterhouses and all that. Yeah. That it was just unbridled. Like it seemed like the COVID just like blew through all these slaughterhouses, and the bosses didn't. There was one story where the bosses were betting on, what was it? How many workers would get it, or
it was.
I want to be correct in this.
Tyson food plant.
Okay.
I think they were making. It was like Tyson fried chicken. It was the frozen fried chicken. Yeah. Okay. And they were making bets on how many workers in that plant were going to get COVID.
This is early COVID too. So this is like, I mean, like. Like you could die.
Yeah, it was before the vaccines, so no one was vaccinated. Yeah, and basically, this was when our only real defense was like cloth masks. Yeah, and that was it. And maybe some hand sanitizer if you could find it. And I'm sure.
Yeah, that was a scary time. Wasn't that?
God, yeah.
I wasn't. Every time someone touched their face, you're like, oh no.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you're gonna die. Yeah, it's the.
But I mean, like, a lot of it is. It's very. I don't know how to explain this, but it's like very. A good human being, like a very basis, like treat other people with respect.
Mm-hmm.
It's. I think a lot of people who give shit to like fast food workers, retail workers, all that, like their upbringing, maybe part of where they are that now in their life, you know, their financial status and all that.
Yeah,
you know, they feel like they can treat other people with shit like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's that, and combined with their own insecurity, that there's something in their life that they're unhappy about, and they're going to take that out on other people.
Ari Freud.
That's my theory.
I mean, partly, okay, yeah, sure. I would believe that.
And I mean that, and I'd say it's like 50% that, 50% they're just shitbags.
Yeah, they're just assholes.
But there are like other people who are dealing with shit in their life, and it's easier to berate someone making $8 an hour than to admit, oh, maybe I'm the problem and should go get some fucking therapy. But,
it's like, yeah, you know, you had a bad day, but you know who else had a bad day? These people make it $7.25 an hour. They also might have had a bad day today too. You know what I mean? So
maybe don't throw milkshakes at them.
Yeah. Maybe don't ask them for the third time. Can you check in the back?
Oh my God.
Did you get a lot of that at Papa John's? Can you check in the back? You have any large planes in the back?
We got a lot of that when I was working at a pharmacy. Actually, so even with like high school jobs, I worked as a pharmaceutical technician, probably illegally, as a high schooler when I was 16. And the reason why I'm like 90% certain that this was illegal, pharm techs get treated like pharmacists, and pharmacists get treated like doctors. So there were multiple times when people came up to us asking very personal and detailed medical questions to like a 16-year-old kid that has no idea what they're doing.
Wow. And that's how you found your wife.
No.
I have a cream for that.
Yeah. That is how one of the other farm techs had an
chlamydia.
Yeah, well, no. Had an elderly woman ask about, I think it was warts on her feet.
On her what?
On her feet.
On her feet. Okay.
And like took off her socks and shoes and put them up on a chair and was like, "Can you look at this for me?" And my coworker's response was like, "You should go see a podiatrist," and then she just walked away.
I get treated like a doctor, but I don't get paid like a doctor.
Yeah, I was like, no, you're making $7.25 an hour, and I will say the one benefit to that job was they made me clean out. Well, this wasn't a good thing. They made me clean out the attic in the middle of the summer, so it was probably 95 to 100 degrees up there.
I didn't know pharmacies had attics.
They probably shouldn't.
I don't want to know what is in a pharmacy's attic.
So this pharmacy attic had baby formula cans from the 70s.
Nope. No.
So they had exploded long ago, and the baby formula had caramelized into like a congealed black mass on the outside of the can. It was disgusting. But I discovered the existence of the Muhammad Ali endorsed Decon roach traps of the late 1970s. Which
Muhammad Ali endorsed roach traps?
Yep.
In the 70s?
Yep.
Why am I hearing about this now?
Yeah, no, it's amazing. So that was the one benefit of getting paid $7.25 an hour to clean out an attic in the middle of, I think, July. So I think we've gotten off topic enough. I don't know.
Were we ever on topic for this episode?
A little bit.
Yeah, this episode's going to be like 2013 fast food strike workers plus about a half hour of us just going all in.
Yeah.
Going balls deep into why things need to change, possibly, maybe, perhaps, occasionally,
nice.
at the time, maybe.
We would really appreciate it.
That's not the way you get things done, Gabe.
No.
We would really appreciate it if you could just maybe stop using racial slurs on on company communications.
Yes. And if somehow John Schnatter is listening to this,
He's not, but yes.
in case he is, I don't give a shit that you sold your car to start your...
Yeah, really.
Pizza
I mean, come
business.
on, man.
I do not
You
care.
sold your car. Oh my God, man.
Working for you killed my car. So, we're even. Anyway, that was the 2013 fast food workers strike in Wilmington.
It was a nice car, though.
It's a 1996 Honda Civic.
No, I mean his car. Your car was shit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so pay your workers more. Tip your waiters and delivery drivers.
I need to go berate a 16-year-old kid for a 20-piece McNugget.
Well, you can't find any
with
because
sweet
they're
and
all...
sour sauce.
Most of the workers are 26 to 28.
Yeah, that's right. All right, I have to go berate a 52-year-old with 6 kids and an ailing wife.
Yeah, that sounds more like it.